Welcome everyone to my YouTube channel, Digital Storm. I'm Dennis, and today what I'm going to do is show you how to migrate a website from one server or host to another server. It could be off of two different servers on the same hosting company, or it could be two separate hosting. It goes the same way regardless which one you do. Now during this process, we're going to use FileZilla to help us with the transfers of the protocol. So mine's already downloaded, but I'm going to show you how to get it. Open a browser, go to FileZilla.net, and when you go to FileZilla, pick your operating system, click it, download FileZilla, and then when you, this will pop up. Of course, this is the paid version. We don't need that, and this is the one with the manual. We're fine without that. That costs us a few dollars. And then here's the free version. Click the download on the free version. It will download in a zip file, unzip it, get it ready. And when you do that, you can pause this if you need to till you get it going. But once you get it going, let's go ahead and open FileZilla. And as you can tell, FileZilla, when you open it, it says host, username, password, port with a quick connect. On this left side is our local site. Basically, it's your computer, your hard drive and everything on that, and your right side is your remote site or your remote server and stuff. So everything in this window is going to be that. What we're going to use today, we could use the file transfer protocol, which is FTP, but we're going to use the SFTP, which is the shell file transfer protocol. It's a more secure version or protocol. It is basically encrypted from start to finish. There's nobody going to be able to sneak in and steal any extremely delicate or important information. It's used for a lot of companies, including banking industries and governments or other businesses that needs to make sure that all data is encrypted and not being able to get intercepted. So what we're going to do now is I need wherever your hosting company is or your old server is go to that. My particular company that I've been using is Vultr. So what I'm going to do is go to Vultr, go to my account, and I'm going to go to where you see the IP address, username, and password. These three items is going to be used to be put into FileZilla in order for us to be able to go ahead and do the transfers of the website. Go back. But first, I need you to copy your IP address since you're already in it. Go back to FileZilla, and this is what I need you to do. Go up here to File, click it, go to Site Manager. And when you're in the Site Manager, of course, let me delete these out. This is just some stuff I had in there for a little bit earlier. You'll see on the left side it says My Sites, and on the right side you got a tab, 4 tabs, and some information. When you go to My Site, let's go down and create a new site. And this is going to be the old server that you're on where your website is hosted now. I'm just going to name mine Ubuntu. And of course, as you see it, it allows you at that time to go ahead and do modifications over this right side. It's automatically set on FTP. But again, we're going to use SFTP, which is the SSH file transfer protocol. I like it a lot better. It's actually a root protocol. It's about the same as like doing a transfer from your terminal. Pretty much working the same way. It's the most secure, best way to do it. So do that. Of course, this is where I had you click your IP and copy it. That's what we're going to paste it here. Of course, the port we'll leave it alone. We don't need it, but if you need it, it's either going to be port 21 or 22. When you come to login type, mine is going to be normal because all I got is a passcode. But if you got a private key or a public key, you can go down here and hit key file. And when you get through with that, of course, like I told you, this is just like the SSH in our terminal. We're going to click in or type in root and passcode. Go back to where your web host is located. Passcode, copying it, and go back over to this, paste, and we're going to hit connect. Let's see how this goes. As you can tell, it's trying to connect. It did connect me. And now, as you can tell, everything on this right is connected to my host server, which is, as you can verify, 66.42.94.217 is identical. We are on my root. It'd be no different than if I was in terminal. The next thing we need to do is to go ahead and start the download process of getting our file downloaded to our local hard drive. And as you can see over here, it says root, but if you look, you don't see none of my website. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back one or go up one to the //, and it'll bring a lot more options over. And of course, for home, let me see, I passed, there we go. Click it. It'll bring you into a place where if you got more than one websites, you can see all your website, but if you got one website there, that's fine, but whichever one you want to download to your hard drive in order to migrate it over, that's the one I need you to click. Double click it, and it's going to bring you into here. And what we're going to do is basically we're going to drag the public HTML over to our C drive. So basically we're going to drag it over to DS Vortex, and it is installing all of my files in this public HTML file over to users DS Vortex public HTML. It's going to take a few minutes to install this because there's going to be a lot of files to install. But while it's doing that, we'll go ahead and continue to do other things. The next thing I need to do is go to your server again, or the place where you're going to be installing your new web service or website. I'm going to install mine back on CyberPanel. So what I'm going to do, but if you're going to install it on somebody different like DigitalOcean, Linux, Namecheap, you name DreamHost, just go to that particular one, go in, and we're going to spin up a new server, or in my case, spin up a new server, wherever y'all need to do, you start a new site. And click Deploy New Server. I'm just going to go through here and set up. Of course, I've already had a tutorial how to do all this. Y'all welcome to watch those. And I'm going to pick the operating system I want, and it's going to be 20.04. The minimum one right now, and I'm going to enable IPv6. And when it comes down to enter the server host name, this is more internal than anything. I'm going to just put Migrate and Deployed Now. What this will do, as you can see, is installing my operating system and all the files that needs to be done on the server side of it to get my VPS server up and operating. And while that's doing that, I want you to go, if you're on a Mac, to your Spotlight, type in terminal. Of course, if you're on Windows, you can go to putty.org, which is putt.org, download that and be able to use Putty in order to do the same thing we're doing. I want you to get ready to log in to this new server. Once it gets through installing, it will be saying running, hopefully in just a matter of a minute or two. There we go. Running, as you can tell, it assigned us an IP address. I'm going to go ahead and click into that. Copy my IP address, go back to my terminal, type SSH root, paste your IP address. Now don't get scared or anything. This is basically saying, hey, we don't recognize this server. Do you trust it? And we're going to click yes. Now it's going to ask for your passcode. Go back, copy, go back to your terminal, click paste, hit enter. And as you can tell, I'm in my server now. It says welcome to Ubuntu 20.04. Alright, I don't know what you want to install. I'm going to install CyberPanel. CyberPanel is a good control panel. I like it. It's fast. It comes with open light speed. I got tutorials on that. Y'all are welcome to go watch it. But wherever panel you decide to install, that's great. Just follow those steps, get it installed. But what I'm going to do is go to another tab and type in cyberpanel.net. It will bring me to this website. Excuse me, y'all. This thing's starting to move around. And once we get there, go to Docs, CyberPanel Install Upgrade. Click it and installing CyberPanel. Go down to Installing CyberPanel, highlight the script, copy, go back to terminal, paste, and what it's doing now is doing the initial startup for CyberPanel, where we will give us options to go ahead and finish the full installation. Now, it's asking us, do we want to install CyberPanel? Type in number 1, and we want to install CyberPanel with open light speed. Of course, CyberPanel got a Lightspeed Enterprise. That's a pay version. We don't need that. We just want the open light speed. So number 1 again, and enter. And we want the full version of CyberPanel, which include Power DNS, Postfix, and Pure FTPD. So capital Y, N for no remote MySQL. Right here is asking what kind of version we want on it. If you want the most updated version, just click enter. If you want to specify a version, you can do so. I want the most updated version. And here you can pick from their administrative default passcode, randomly generate you one, or in my case, I want to specify one. So I'm click yes and type in my passcode. Click enter, confirm it. I like this because you don't know what you're typing in, and it keeps you from making a mistake. Do I wish to install MIM cached? Yes. Redis, yes. And Watchdog Kill, yes. Now this is going to take probably about 12 minutes to install, and while it's doing that, and of course you can see it's still installing all the files necessary for us to migrate this over. I'm going to pause this and be back once it's completely installed. Okay, everyone, we're back. It's completely installed. What it's doing is, what I recommend you do is go ahead and copy these files, because it's going to have some passcodes for different, like your email server, your backend console and stuff. So copy and paste that to a text editor or something to you to be able to go in there and change your passcode. And they're asking us to restart the server, so I'm just going to go ahead and click restart, SSH root, and basically we're going to just log back in so it'll take effect. Copy, let me see, yep, that was the copy, and paste. Right, it says enjoy your accelerated internet by CyberPanel. Then if I click LS, you'll see it's installed. Okay, the next thing we need to do, of course, FileZilla is completely downloaded from my old web server or website. All my public HTML files have been put on my local hard drive. And what we're going to do now is just go up here to FileZilla, click it, hit File, Site Manager. We're going to add a new site, and this is going to be the new site you're migrating to. I'm just going to name mine Migrate. After I get and see Migrate, of course, allows us to come over here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it under the SFTP protocol. Of course, the host is, go back up to get your host IP address. Go back to FileZilla. Paste, normal login, and root is the user, and then we go back to copy and paste my passcode. And what we're doing now is connecting to the new server. And we trust the site. See, now it has connected. And as you can tell, I got my local host on this side and my remote server on that side. This is the new one. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go down and find. Basically, we're doing the opposite of what we did. We downloaded the public HTML file to our system. Now we're going to upload it to our new server. So we're going to go down and find it. And of course, here it is. And as you look over here, you don't see the website because it's in root. But what we need to do is go back to this / and then go down to home. Look, you still don't see it right now. So because it's not installed, even if I refresh it, it's not installed. So that tells us we need to go ahead and log into CyberPanel. So we're going to open up a new tab, and we're going to use our IP address. Click, paste, :8090, and enter. Now it's going to bring you to this where it says your connection isn't private. We know that. We're just going to type these words in. This is unsafe. And you see it spinning up. It's going to take me to the CyberPanel login, which it does. Of course, this is unsafe. Works for both Microsoft Edge and Google Chrome. Go type in admin and whatever passcode you set at the time you was installing CyberPanel. Click enter. It will bring me to the dashboard of CyberPanel. I love CyberPanel. I've been playing around with it a while. It is fast. It's great. Redundant. It makes tasks so much easier. It's just a great all-around control panel. That's why I like to use it. Of course, if we go over here to the list website, we don't have any. That's why when we was down off of right here, this is where this website should be listed underneath, you know, this section here. But when I refresh it, it's still not nothing there. So what we need to do, install a container / shell website right now. And we're going to click website. Of course, we'll go through all the motions. My domain name is going to be omnimajestic.com. Your email could be anything, your business, your private, or whatever. And I want to put PHP 8.0. And I'm going to highlight for my additional feature the DKIM support. Of course, you can use any one you want. The SSL, I'll do that later, but to speed up this process, it's just going to be putting that. Create website, create configuration. Now it's successfully installed our website. We go back to website, list websites, and manage. As you can tell, if I hit preview right now, it shows CyberPanel installed, but that's just a placemat for it. It actually doesn't have any WordPress in it. So let's go ahead and install a fresh WordPress. WordPress plus LScache. We click it. You put whatever you want. I'm going to put Dakota because he's my world. That's my son. Log in. New WordPress website. We're going to click install. And this shouldn't take but a few seconds. It's going to completely install everything for us that we need. And successfully installed. We can go back to website, list websites. And of course, it's taking it a minute for some reason. But while it's doing that, let's go back over to your old system, because we still got to do everything on that. If you remember how to get to it or whatever, I'm going to log back into my old CyberPanel backend, my IP address, and 8090. This right here will take me to my backend of my CyberPanel that's got the old Omni Majestic website on. Because we still got to get a few things going from both of these in order to migrate. Click enter. click like list websites, and it's going to show you a list of my websites that I have at this time under this particular IP address. And of course, I went back. I got both panels open now, so to keep from getting confused. But this is the 216. This is the new one, and I got the old one, which is going to be the 66 one. Okay, so I know it gets confusing when I go back and forth, but remember, old is the 66 one. Of course, you can see all of this into this, and here's my new one. Now, when I type in Omni Majestic, this is what I forgot to tell you. See, we're still on the old one right now, and I set this what I call a dummy or a placeholder website up, or elegant themes, and man, it's got like all the pages you need, everything. It's a fully functional website. I just haven't went in there and made it to my likings, but it was, I mean, it is awesome. It's got everything you need, so many pages it is. It's got your home, about, blog, contact, Instagrams, you name it, it's got it. So it's a working website that we're going to make look just like this when we transfer over to our new server. But I'm just kind of giving you an idea where we're at right now. So this is what we're going to transfer over, and this is exactly how it's going to look after we get through migrating it. Now, when you click and show, this is the new one, the Hello World one. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and I'll show it to you. But while we're in the old one, we need to go to databases. We need to go to my PHP my admin, and of course we need to pick the database in order to transfer it over. If you don't know the name of it, just go back to your host, like I'm going. Go back into manage. Well, let me see. I told you the wrong way. We're just going to hit that. We're going to go to list databases. Okay. We're going to select Omni Majestic, and as you can tell, I got 9 NLG. So I should have 9 NLG, but I do not see it. So I may have to go out of here and log in under Omni Majestic. Omni Majestic : 8090. And of course, we're going to have to go ahead and do this all over again. Sometimes that happens. If you log in for some reason or another, it doesn't show it. Just log in under your website under that same port number. Now we're going to go back to databases. We're going to list database. And pick Omni Majestic, and again 9NYLG. Go back to databases. PHP my admin. Click it. And as you can tell, go down until you find 9NYLG, and that's going to be the one we're going to export over. This is our database that contains all the information that we need for this particular website to operate. We're going to put export. And we're going to export, and it's telling us what we're exporting. That is the correct database. We're going to do a quick export and as a SQL format, and just click go. It's going to download the file. Of course, it did, and I could just show it where it downloaded. Let me move this out of the way for just a sec. It downloaded our SQL file in my download folder, so that's where we know to get it when it's time to come. So right now we got everything we got installed. Going from that, now let's go back to FTP. We got a new website installed for Majestic. So we got everything kind of set up where, hey, we got the old one, so we got a new one to take its place. We just got to transfer it in. We're setting up all these small, like the database, the website, and all that stuff. So when we transfer in, it'd be easy. But here's the thing. Let's go. I'm going to show you this. We're going to go to what's mydns.net, and I'm going to type in www Omni Majestic. And of course, when I say Omni Majestic, y'all use your website, of course. And I'm going to show you how to search. And you see it's still listing the old website IP address. It's still operational on the old website, even though we put this new one on. But once we transfer it over, you will start seeing, or migrate over, all these numbers turn into the new one. But before we do that, we're going to have to go to wherever your domain is registered at. Mine on this particular domain is Portbun, but it could be Namecheap, GoDaddy, you name it, wherever it is, y'all go to it. I'm going to go, once I go in, it's going to be similar to mine. Go down to your DNS records and click Edit. As you can see, my DNS record shows my A record to be on my old web server and my C name to be Omni Majestic. Technically, I'm going to be honest with you, you don't have to change the C name, but I will delete it and put a new one back in here just show you how it's done, because that will be the same regardless. But we're going to just go ahead and delete both of these, and then we're going to add new. The first one, always I want an A address. We leave this blank. That's kind of like the root @ symbol. That symbol is going to be the root, and we're going to set up a new. So go to Migrate in my case, and yours, whatever you named it, but copy your new IP address, go back to your name server, and paste it where you need to get it. And once you get it, paste, click Add. See it? Edit it. Next thing we need at least a C name, and we're going to do a www, and the answer we're just going to put in your website name. In my case, omnimajestic.com without the www, because when it fills in, it's automatically going to do it for you. See? Save it if you need to, and then exit out. Now, when I go back to name server, or just watch my DNS, when I click this, you're going to see it's still going to be a lot of 66, if not all. It takes time for that to propagate properly, and it could take several hours for all of it to be completely up and running. Been my experience, that's probably no more than an hour, but most time it'll start within a few minutes of starting to put one or two on. But for right now, as you can tell, it has not. But we'll come back and check on that in a little bit. We already exported from our old one, so we can close that out. And we're done with the old 66. So we're going to close it. So right now, we're going to type in Omni Majestic again. And it's still on the old one because, like I said, it propagated yet. As you can tell, it's still going to have two different websites by the time we get it migrated for just a little bit. So just be careful what you do. Don't want to be adding and deleting a lot of things. It shouldn't matter, but you know, it won't take too much longer before it goes into it. Okay, now what we need to do is, you remember when I told you before we done the website and setting up the website and everything, that when we clicked it home, you didn't see nothing. Now let's refresh it one more time. Okay, go up to the refresh button. You see the website popped in. Now we got it in. That's awesome. What we're going to do, we're going to do the opposite of what we did last time. We'll downloaded it to our C drive. Now we're going to upload it to 216.128.136.63. This is my new server. So I'm going to highlight it, drag it to omnimajestic.com and let it go. There we go. As you can see, it's transferring all my information up to my domain server. It's going to take just as long, if not longer, to transfer this as it did the other one. So I'm going to pause this at this time and get back to you when it's finished. Okay, everybody, I'm back. It's completely uploaded all the files on FileZilla. Now, I clicked this right before I started, but I clicked it again. I'll show you where the A records on Omni Majestic. Majority of everything is already swapping over to the new server, so it's looking good. It hasn't been that long, and majority of the DNS servers around the world is already recognizing it. Of course, when you go to CNAME, it should recognize it. It does. So it's great. That tells us we're on track now. That there's really no server around the world recognizing the older server that was on. They all recognizing this new one. But we're not finished. Because let me show you. When I type in Omni Majestic error establishing a database connection, we got to configure some of your databases or your PHP files and other stuff, your files and stuff like that. That's no big deal. We're going to do it. I'm going to show you. Go back to your CyberPanel. Make sure you're under your new one, not your old one. And go to databases, list database. You go to the, as you can tell, it's already created a database for me. So we'd be like, well, why is it not doing it if it's already created? Because the database name is not matching up with the database that's been uploaded from the other website. So we got to basically migrate it or end up getting it over. So what I want you to do, go back to databases, go to PHP My Admin, click it, and it will bring you into this panel. And as you can tell, SDTA is there. So, but that's the thing, we don't want to use that. We want to import. Click import. We want to import the one we downloaded earlier or exported earlier. And choose file. Mine is in the download. Of course, there it is. It's the .SQL file. I'll click it and open. It's going to open that. We're going to leave everything as it is. We're going to leave the format as MySQL. And we're going to click go. It says no database selected. Okay, let me see what we need to do. Go back, no database selected, because it's not in there. We need to go ahead and add that database to it. But let's go to website, list website, file manager, public, and then when we go in public, we're going to go down to wp-config-.iph, right click, go down to edit. And this is what we need to do. We need to create another database so they can recognize it. Okay, it's not recognizing this database right now. So, well, here's the old one. You see how it's got this? Let me just show you this. These four are the most important. But you know, you got your database name, user, password, and your database host. Highlight. Click and copy. Let's go back. Let's open up a new one. So, instead of just going back and forth and getting out of this every time, what I want you to do is go to 216. In my case, in whatever case yours is, for the server with port 8090, click it, and let's go back into a new one. That way we could do pasting and everything. Then we're going to go back over to database, create database. We'll pick the website what we're going to do, and we're going to paste in our name and username, which is the same. Then we're going to go back over to where we got this config PHP opened up, and then we're going to highlight the passcode. Copy, go back over, paste, and then create database. Database successfully created. Go back to database, list database, and you see two databases in here now. Here's the thing, we don't need this second one, or this first one, number one. I'm going to delete it out, and I'll show you how to delete it. But I also want you to take note of what happened. When CyberPanel installed this database, they added this word in front of it. That was not originally in our database. See? No words in front of it. So what we got to do is to add those two words in front of this particular database. So type in your database name, and if yours didn't add anything to it, great, leave it as, don't mess with it. But if it did, like mine, when you check your database and you see it's different, just add that little difference. In my case, it's omni underscore, and save changes. Successfully saved. I'm going to exit out of this. I'm going to go back into our database, and I'm going to go over here. So we're going to delete this one out. Click database, delete database, and the website. Select database. Of course, I'm wanting to keep Omni at this one, but we're going to delete this one. Successfully delete it. And to show you it has been deleted, I can go back over to list database, and now there's only one with the ID of 2 because that's where it came in at the second one. Let's go back over to database, phmyadmin, and now you see it here. But you don't see anything in it. It is empty. So let's try this import one more time. Go and choose a file. Wherever you had your MySQL file at, or the .SQL file, we're going to upload it. Again, leave everything else alone and click go. There we go. So import was successfully finished, 7340. So basically, it has copied and everything from the old one to the new one. If I'm not mistaken, now we can actually go to Omni Majestic, and there we go. It migrated the Omni Majestic site, everything you see here, from the old server to our new server, in every aspect. Nothing's different, it's all the same. And as you can tell, we're on the new server because when I go to DNS and I click it, it's all new now. So that's how you end up migrating one web host website from one server over to the other. I hope you like this. Give me some thumbs up. Hey, subscribe to my channel.